Morning guys. Okay, so what am I doing this morning? Well, I fancied something stodgy and nice, and I found a little YouTube channel called Mr. Paul's Pantry, and I think he lives in Spain or somewhere, and he does a lot of British. I think he's an ex-baker, and he does a lot of sort of baking and cooking on YouTube from what he used to bake in his bakers. And I found this recipe for English breakfast crumpets, and I just had to make them. Now I'll let you see them. They look gorgeous. So this is 3 cooking away here. They only take about 6 or 7 minutes to cook, and we have 3 here. I can't wait to get into these. Good morning guys. It is Thursday 29th of June, and we've not had much progress on the rest of the fence yet. The guy had COVID, so he's been floored for a few days. But he's back today, so I will let you see what's happened. I'll just spin you around. Okay, so that's him just going. He's just dropped the gate off that this guy's going to fit, I believe himself, or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But they have put the fencing bits up on the front here. I've put 2 lights up, 2 solar lights on top of the pillars here. So as you can see, the wood effect panels have still got to go in, and they've also got to go in the gate, but once that's all fitted they'll come back and they'll fit all these wood effect panels. Now, what else have I been up to? Well, you'll remember there was a big hole here. So I left it for a few days, let it rain on it, filled it with sand, some of the red soil, and solid, absolutely solid now. This one here I've yet to do. This one's actually ready to get done because it's solid. It forms pools when it rains, and when it forms pools, you know that the water's not sinking into the soil anymore and compacting it. Also, this here's ready to get done. The water just forms big pools here, so it's not draining down. This here where it dropped, I have cleaned this off and put some sort of bricks around it, and then put the stones back in, so it's starting to look a little bit better. This all needs sorted out again eventually. I need to redo all the pipe work because you can see it's all at a bit of an angle where this has dropped very, very slightly. It's all been packed underneath again with sand and everything, so it shouldn't drop anymore. There's no more sort of settlement here. So I just need to redo all the pipe work, get it all straight, but that's not a problem. So, yes, the back door, they have put a little lintel above it, which now stops the rain running down the wall on top of the door and then inside the kitchen. It doesn't wet the kitchen, it just soaks down the inside of the back door, then runs out the bottom here. But it's just really annoying to see water running down the inside of your back door. They have also put expanding foam in the joint here, and they've put expanding foam all the way along. So this roof no longer leaks, which is nice. We've had a few big rainstorms and not a drop. Absolutely no signs of leak in this kitchen anymore, so yeah, that's looking good. I've done a few bits and pieces inside as well. I had a load of Alexa lamps, Philips Hue bulbs, and some inner ones, INNR ones. I've put those up in the house. That's it for now. I will bring you back when this gate's on its runner and got the frame and everything up and it's working. So cheers for now guys, and I'll catch you very shortly. Alexa, hall lamp on.
Okay.
Alexa, hall lamp off.
Okay.
Alexa, living room on.
Okay.
Alexa, living room off.
Okay.
Alexa, lounge on.
Okay.
Alexa, lounge off.
Okay.
Alexa, main bedroom on.
Okay.
Alexa, main bedroom off.
Okay.
Good morning, guys. It's Friday the 21st of July. Where the hell is time going? This is just unbelievable. Anyway, it's flying in. So what's been happening? Well, I've already cleared birds' nests out of the air conditioning units, but the little buggers are back again. I'll spin you around and let you see. I'll take you a wee wander through and let you see what's been happening since the last video. It's been about 3 weeks since the last one, so we've had a lot of rain. Yeah, a lot of thunderstorms, so there's no really been much opportunity to make some videos. So this air conditioning unit on the side of the house here, this is the main one for the living room, the big one for the living room. And they're building nests. I've already taken that cover off once and dragged a nest out of it before they laid any eggs or anything, but they're back again and they're really just doing my head in. This is our temporary electrical supply that's causing us all the issues. Well, not a lot, not big issues. I mean, the lights dim when we turn air conditioning on, or when the water pump there starts when we're running water. But this will be going soon because, as you're about to see, the Provincial Electrical Authority, or PEA, have been out installing the posts for the electrical lines to go up. So you might see one in the distance there. Now, what else have I done? I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I've installed a solar LED spotlight here. Now, I don't know if this was a good idea or not, because when it comes on, literally before we go to bed, I've got to come out with the remote control and switch this off because it is so bright. It is unbelievable. So I'm not too sure if that was a good idea. I mean, yeah, we've got timers and things. I should really set it to a 2 hour or 4 hour timer, but I think after you set the timer and it goes off, it defaults back to just automatic again. So it comes on when it gets dark and basically goes off when the battery dies. So I've also installed some security cameras here. Now, so this junction box here is the power supply where the cable comes out and joins. There's a little box down here and it's basically power supply for that constant pressure pump. Now these cameras are supposed to just get mounted onto the wall, and they have like a couple of cables. There's a data cable with a data connector, an RJ45 connector on it for plugging into your internet. It's also Wi-Fi, and there's a power cable that had a plug in it. Now, I was going to run a cable from here when I split all this down and ran the cables through, and I was going to run and put like just like a little socket inside and plug it in. I thought, you know what, I'll just cut the plug off the camera and run the cables through and just put them into this junction box. Massive mistake. The power cables coming from this camera were about 4 or 5 strands of copper. They were minute, and the trouble I had getting little chocolate block or inline sort of electrical connectors to replace the twisted connections that they had in there already were a nightmare. But anyway, it's in, it's connected, and the camera works. This here's ready for getting filled again. But I don't know if I'm going to fill these because, as you can see, there's a lot of grass popping up here, and I really need to get my black anti-weed matting down all around the edge of the house. Now, out here, where we were going to build the swimming pool, is not far off a swimming pool already. It's just got a lot of grass in it, but there's a lot of water in there. And there's a lot of grass growing around about here, but this year we're having to leave for a year to let this settle before we do anything with it. So, still got my pile of red soil here for filling my holes. My pile of stones that need to go in. Again, I don't know what to do here. I don't know whether to just, because these stones all need to get lifted again to remove this grass, get the black matting down. But I'm in two minds here. We're thinking about putting a carport in here along the side of the house, so it basically runs from just under the eaves there and then goes across to this wall, and it's basically just the length of the house, and then basically concrete in this area and concrete in a drive-in down here. So I really don't know. We've still got, oh, the guy that was doing our fence, he's been binned, he's gone. He's put all the panels up, all the gates are up, the gates are working, but he's not put the aluminium sort of wood effect bits in between. Now, there was issues, he never had money, he was wanting money off of us. He was using money from other people to start other jobs, so he was having to find other jobs, get deposits to use it to finish the previous job, so we basically told him to get knotted. So he was paid a deposit for this, which pretty much covers the 3 gates and the panels that were put up. Now, the guy that was working for him for 2 or 3 weeks, and he's not even paid him either. So we've got in touch with this guy, and this guy's coming down with a couple of guys that he works with now, because he doesn't work for the guy anymore. He's basically told him to do one as well. So he's going to come back and he's going to finish this off for us, and we're actually just going to put shearer board in the gaps and fill it with shearer board. We're not doing the front because we want to be able to see through here, because if we put shearer board in, it's going to absolutely destroy our view. We're having to do the gate. That's getting boarded up in between the white slats. But we're having to do that, and that's basically to keep the dog in. The same with the bottom of this gate here. I need to get something done there. I don't know whether just to brick it, put a step in, and brick it up to the bottom of the gate, but the dog just sneaks out under there. So we need to do something with that either. So, another camera up on the balcony there. We've also had to put these little spinny things up, because these birds that are nesting under a roof were coming up here, and they were sitting on top of that rail, and they were just sitting there shitting, and they were just shitting on, because they were facing out the way, they were shitting on the inside, and it was the patio here was just covered in bird shit, and the top of this handrail. And these spinny things that we've hung up seem to be effective. The same up here on this balcony. They were sitting up here facing out the way shitting, and it was all coming onto the balcony. I'm going to buy some plastic imitation snakes and dot them about the place, because they pretty much keep everything away. So what else has been happening? Oh yeah, the posts. So they've been out for a couple of hours this morning, and they have put posts in all the way along pretty much to where that truck is. In fact, they go further, I can see them in the distance. But I believe that's as far as they're going along here. I have no idea why. Now, we were lucky, we were here this morning when they came and they did this. And they were going to plonk one in the middle of that piece of land there. And we said to them, look, why do you not just put it at the edge here? It's also a pain in the backside for the people that are working that land, because if that post had been in the middle, it would have just been stuck in the middle of the front of their land. And if they decided ever to build a house on it, anyway, that's besides the by. So we got them to put the post in right here, right next to where we need it. And the posts go along to the road there. I think they must be away for their lunch. But I basically bored these holes, put these posts in, all in a couple of hours this morning. So I have no idea when we will be getting the electricity lines run down, but the guy's given his phone number and they're going to run the lines for the pylon here up to the corner of the house there, which should get rid of all the problems we're having with the what I believe is like a big voltage drop in those terrible little cables that we've got run. What's happening with the river? Well, if you have a look back a few videos back, you'll see that this area here was all beach, and the river wasn't coming through. It was basically, this was like a little standalone pond here on its own, and it's now up quite a long way. It's probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 metres now in the middle there, whereas before you could wander across it. There's no way you're doing that now. It's still a far sort of cry from where it should be. It should be up. I mean, probably, if you can see those little tufts sticking up, that's pretty much where the river should be up to. It should be cutting that left-hand side of those tufts there should be underwater, and all this should be underwater, and this little sort of peninsula sticking out there, that should all be underwater. And this time last year, probably maybe 3 months ago, this river was up much higher than this. We've just not had rain at all. I know the rain here doesn't really affect the river. It's what's happening further up with all the dams and that. But obviously, nobody's getting the rain that we were sort of expecting. So that's pretty much it, guys. I don't think there's much else to report. We've bought some patio sets and things for putting up there on this little balcony outside. So I had to come out this morning and chop the area of this tree that was all going across the other side there so they could get this post in. I spent a couple of hours hacking it with one of these big sort of machetes, and then the guys drove along with a bloody chainsaw. So the other side's cut off nice and cleanly with a chainsaw, where this side's all been hacked to bits with a big machete. But anyway, hey ho, how was that to know they were going to turn up with a chainsaw, electric chainsaw? So that's it for now, guys. I've got the first of the cooking videos is up, and I scripted it. I wrote it down. I wrote the script down, and I'm recording it on my phone. Okay, so I've just completely lost where I was at. Oh yeah. So the Penang video, we're going to do another one. I scripted this one, like I said, and I'm using my phone. So when I'm looking at the phone to record, the camera's actually across. So if I look across here, that's me looking at the camera, and it's just unnatural to be looking across into that wee end corner of the phone there. When you kind of want to look at the middle of the phone where you would expect sort of the camera to be. So while I was recording it and reading it, I was just looking all over the place, and it does sound like I'm reading a script, to be perfectly honest. I was never great at reading stories from a book. I could never get into character. I could never get the sort of personality of characters across. So I ain't going to script them anymore. You're just going to get me waffling a lot of crap. So it'll probably work a heck of a lot better though. So anyway, thanks for now, guys, and I will see you in the next one. And there might even be another cooking video up before we drop this one. So cheers for now, guys, and I will speak to you later.